Hey folks, how you doing? Cyrus here one more time. So after 3 days, just came back to my facility to be able to read comments, watch YouTube, and to be able to make video one more time because I was with my mom and in her place in another city, and I wasn't really behind my chair. But it feels good to be back, and like always, we're gonna go for some comments, and then we're gonna go and watch RM and Pharrell talking about production on Rolling Stone. So the first comment here is Nico OT7 said, "You're so calm and collected. Please give me some tips how to be calm. I don't know why I'm getting aggressive sometimes." So, in general, one thing that we should know is that being calm and collected and aggressive is not good or bad by itself. So we actually need both of the behaviors. Being aggressive is some sort of self-defense in general when it comes to the time that we have to defend ourselves. So it's not a bad thing, but you need to be able to see the outcomes of the aggression. So when we're really aggressive and we're not acting appropriately based on the situation we are and based on the people that we are in touch with, is better to say it in English. That first one was a little bit Persian. But anyway, we should understand the situation. So by knowing the situation, you can balance yourself. All right, so when you're with your friends, you have to remind yourself that there's no reason to be aggressive. No reason. Why? Because they're your friends. And while we're talking to our friends, we might have different opinions, but that's just a different opinion. Even if we just, tell our opinion to our friends or listening to what they say, we don't need to act like any special way. Like, this is it. This is how life works. So you can actually just tell your opinion, and while they're opposing your opinion, you can just say, all right, fine. You can think about what they say, definitely, and you can be skeptical and see if they say something better than what you know, and they can actually share more information. But in general, you don't need to just act any way, shape, or form in aggression. So, the reason that I'm calm and collected is because I understand the situation. I'm talking to my friends on YouTube, right? Like, I don't have to make any sort of video. This is a voluntarily act. I'm just doing it because I love it. I answer the comments, whether they're kind of like, comments that compliment me or the comments that are opposing my ideas. In both situations, those comments belong to me. It means that people respected me to some way to put some comments, so there's no need to act aggressive. So I can just ignore them or I can answer them. So in general, all comments and critics are welcome because I can learn a lot through those things. So actually, there are no reason to be aggressive. But there will be time that in your life, situations, conditions are not really in a way that you feel safe. So you need to act aggressive to defend yourself. Apart from those time, no aggression is needed. So all I can say is that we should embrace the beauty of being calm and being aggressive because we need both of them. So I hope I answered your comment in some way. So if you have more questions, you can actually email me and I can maybe help you more in private time, and we can have a private session and we can talk about things in deeper level. So feel free, contact me. Nick H, 3 days ago, exactly the time that I left, said, Dailymotion or Google Drive could be a possibility. Just make a video and put a link to it in the description. If there are other websites like Dailymotion, Army, please let him know. So there are one more website like archive.org that I used to work with them a lot. So that's a very good opinion. I'm going to go and check the Rise of Banking Chapter 5 one more time. I like to just, record it in another way. Some of the friends just told me that it's really good to just, upload the video in different sections. Maybe I will try that as well. But if none of those things worked, I will go for maybe archive.org because it's really free and I can upload it there and just for one video. I can put the link in the description and you can go and watch it there. And then afterwards, if there are no problem, I can upload them here as we can go along. So Kiki said, "Can't wait for Rise of Bangtan reaction." Thank you, love. I will go for it. Don't worry. I will do it in the meantime. And I really love Rise of Bangtan myself. So thank you so much for everything. Thanks for all the comments that you put here. I will go and answer them as much as I can. Ma said Patreon or a Vimeo link would do the job, I think. Sure. A lot of good comments and recommendation. Thank you so much for it. You can search RM You on a Speech 2018. I will go for RM all the speeches. A lot of people put the comments, put the link into the comments, and I will go for it. Definitely, you know me and my relationship with RM, so I won't miss any of that. Thank you so much, Zari DV, my friend here, Jordan Preston, and one more time, Janet Roca, a Mysterious Army, one of the people that started putting a lot of beautiful comments. I love you a lot. RP, Kiki, Nick H, Georgiana, Nico, Yorsa, Rico English, Lakshi, Jordan Preston, one more time. A lot of comments from Jordan. Thank you so much. Camellia, Hamdoe, Iromi, one more time. Georgiana, a lot of comments from Georgiana as well. Dinny G hit Serenity, Lori comments. Thank you all for everything. Really love that. I really enjoy your comments and the interaction that we have in this place. Thanks a lot. So it's the time to go and watch BTS, RM and Pharrell talk producing their upcoming collab and more. Musician on musician.
If you remember it or not, but we've met at of course.
So they're in a closed caption here, the CC. So hope you don't find yourself in trouble understanding what they're saying. Okay, I can actually add a little bit of volume here that you can watch it better. And let's go and look at their outfit. Artists. Cool.
Billboard Music Awards.
Yes, of
in
course.
2018.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
We took a photo.
We took a photo together.
I wanted to work then. First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me as well. I think that there's a huge benefit in writing and producing for other people. I'm pretty sure you may feel that way as well, but it allows me to go to places that I wouldn't go for myself. And as much as it feels like, I may know what I'm doing when I'm doing songs that I'm, featured as a solo artist, some people know, but most people don't know that all of my solo efforts have always been songs that I have written and produced for other people. In fact, when I try to write songs for myself, produce songs for myself, they always are too complex and seem much more like a puzzle than they do, a jam, like a bop. But I do those for other people. So for me, oftentimes my best stuff is the stuff that I poach back from myself. I don't know how it is for you.
In 2005, I was just an elementary school kid, and I just wanted to be a rapper. As I got to know what's rap, it's basically it's rhythm and poetry. I really felt attracted for this whole genre to send the messages to the world. Actually, it's really embarrassing to answer about all this in front of my idol, but for me it's really more comfy to mostly for me I write somebody's lyrics or the melodies for other artists, not as many as you, but it feels like it gives me another avatars and characters. Yes. So when it comes to me, it's a complex, and it always comes with the pain to confess. But it's
So this is a very good video to start analyzing their personality, because a lot of good comments from Pharrell William. Is it? It's William, right? I'm not. Yes, Pharrell Williams. Cool. I don't know why it feels weird to say Pharrell William, but it just feels weird. But we can go and analyze what they actually say here, and let's go and check it.
still the most important part for me.
So, first thing I can add here, in terms of memory and bringing back data to our mind, we have first visual memory or analytical memory. So the visual memory are the ones people like me, we don't remember dates correctly. Like I don't know when I went to college. I have no idea. Maybe if I can think about it and I can go like, all right, I'm like 27. Particularly people start college at age of 18. So I started when I was 19. So 27, 19, it's kind of like, 9 years, right? And 9 years ago, this year is 2022, and 9 years ago would have been just like, I can't even calculate it. 2013. But did you watch RM? I was like, he could recall memories like this back in 2005, for instance, 2010, 2013. There are people just like that. People that can bring back memories like that. So in terms of behavioral science, we call those people the ones with masculine sensory, the ones that their memory can recall dates pretty much fast, like instant. So RM has masculine sensory, or in general, there is a function called introverted sensing in case of RM. So he has masculine introverted sensing. So having masculine introverted sensing, it makes his memory really powerful in terms of knowing what happened when. But people like me, we have feminine introverted, we have feminine sensory. In case of me, it's introverted sensing, so I have feminine introverted sensing. And what this cognitive function does, it helps me to be very, like feminine. I'm very movable. I'm not so masculine in terms of behavior, and I don't remember times just like that. But my visual memory is really powerful. I can actually explain that later. But RM is really masculine in terms of behavior. He's so solid and punchy. Anyway, let's go and watch.
I can relate to that. I think the pain part for me is probably the fun part, because I like.
So here, there's another thing. So we talked about putting people in contrast and knowing, when we see people talking to others, we can understand, all right, how much there are similarities and how much there are differences. So in case of RM and Pharrell William, both of them are kind of like having, we talked about this DI, which is introverted decision. Both of them are talking about themselves. Both of them are kind of like self-oriented. Whenever they want to just start talking, they're talking about, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. So this is the story of RM and Pharrell William. Both of them share the same cognitive function.
That's like some of the most vivid paint that we can use as artists when we're like filling in.
So I can add one more thing, because I can actually teach you a little bit here. So people with DI or introverted decision, people who are actually self above tribe, people who see themselves all the time as priority, they can act in a way that they see others as priority. It depends on different situations, so it's a little bit complicated. But I want to say that people who are very selfish, they can love others very much as well. So it's not like it's an impossible. But when we say people with introverted decision, it means that their priority is themselves. But it doesn't mean that they don't love tribe or they don't want to be tribe. They don't want to be a part of a tribe, I can say. Let's go back.
What we want to be a powerful verse. It's like, okay, does it hurt enough? You know, or does it feel good enough? You know, so I understand you there when you say, you know, you inject the pain in your verses to make sure that like, you know, they're strong. I agree.
I was wondering the creative process, how it's different for you yourself, like In My Mind or Girl, or between the songs you made for the others, like the singers or the rappers, or like clips, grounding, of course. I just wonder the difference, from the scratch.
So when an artist walks in, they ask for something,
like a track or idea.
They'll say, I just want something hard, or I want something darker, or I want, something that's like for the club, like,
banger.
You know what I'm saying? A banger, like. And so I'm considering what they're looking for, but I'm also thinking about like the texture of their voice, and the patterns and the melodies that they do usually. Then I think about how I can give them something very different than they've ever done before. And so
we can actually analyze something here. So you can go, I'm just like, when I explain something, you can go back to the video and you can watch it yourself again and find the patterns that I'm talking about. So Pharrell Williams is not sharing sensory information, all right? Pharrell Williams is sharing patterns. Pharrell Williams is sharing the bigger picture, the bigger idea, not the whole story with the details, but the story that only, I was like, he's given us the titles, all right, not the description. So the thing about Pharrell Williams seems like he's an intuitive as well, just like RM. And he's just like into new things, all right, just like RM. So they kind of like share the same character here a little bit. I don't know anything about Pharrell Williams, I just try to understand him just right now. But the thing is that he is into new things, pattern and new things, which there is a function called introverted intuition, or NE, in terms of MBTI and stuff like that. So yeah, that's I can understand about him, that he's into new things. But we can go, maybe I'm wrong right now. It's like there are no conclusion, there are no judging. I just try to understand things. So maybe at the end of the video, I have some other opinion. But for now, I just like to set a checkpoint. If you watch the other video of mine, we just want to have a checkpoint to understand. For instance, I can show it like here. This is Pharrell Williams right now at the minute 4. Maybe at minute 23, Pharrell Williams can go there or here. But I need a checkpoint to understand where is he right now. So do not make any judgment based on just a checkpoint.
When you mix all of that together, a lot of times, an artist will say, man, that's a little different for me or whatever. And then I'll go ahead and reference it and, sell it to someone else. And then like oftentimes that same person will come back to me and say, man, why didn't you play me that? And I was like, I did play you that, but they weren't hearing it in that way.
Wow, that's the fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun part. But then there are people who jump out the window and they go ahead and try it. Because my whole thing is just try it. We don't have to put it out.
Right.
But, people are so good at what they do. Sometimes they're afraid to explore different parts of their voice, different parts of their personality, and different parts of their career. So, they're a little like hesitant. But for the ones that do try it, they get to experience something new. And look, if we decide at the end of the day it's just not right for them, it's not right for them.
Right.
But you got to hear a different side. That's my favorite part of writing and producing for other people.
Like a challenging.
Yeah.
Like, so here comes another thing.
Okay.
I started to listen to music. I mean, like the hip hop music in 2005. I started with the Nas and Eminem. Okay. Of course, the classics. Yeah. But as I get to know you, when I first listened to your song, especially, I just want to point out "Take It Off," because that's my That's my playlist, one of the
Whoa.
playlists. So
That's crazy.
when I listen to it, I even translated it into Korean, and I just recorded once when I was I'm amateur.
Whoa.
So when I listen to it, I just always been wanting to have the frequency, like because you always cross over this. These days, genre doesn't mean anything, but I think at that time, I think was like some rappers really criticize the rappers who sing or use the autotunes.
Right.
But I don't know. You started your career as a producer, or so you're like very natural for that. But I always wanted to have the frequency like it sometimes it's just singing. You could be falsetto. Sometimes you rap. Sometimes you just sang the hook for the other artists, like Snoop Dogg. And so how do you position yourself when you participate in the song as a player? Like,
wow. First of all, these are great questions.
Thank you.
And no one's ever asked me that. Believe it or not. Like, no, I've never had a journalist ever ask me that.
That really matters to me.
And that's like no cap. Like, you, believe it or not, no one's, and it sounds like they could have, and because it's such an obvious question, but no one's ever asked me that. So I'm blown away by that. Everything, I make decisions based off of feeling. I don't make them based off of convention.
I gotta rap. I gotta sing.
Yeah, it's just whatever it feels like it needs, and I'm gonna channel it as best as I can, because I'm trying to tell somebody else who's gonna be better than me to do it. And oftentimes, what will happen was artists will be like, "Nah, we want you to stay on there," and I'll be like, "No, but it's for this."
So, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but Pharrell Williams is no longer talking about himself. So 7 minutes through the video, and RM start talking about, I did this, I did that back at the time, I even did this for you, like start complimenting Pharrell. And after a while, Pharrell just start talking, and he's again and again and again, he's referring to others. Others. I did this for others, and others never did this. No, like a journalist asked that like before, like still others. Pointing out on others. Just RM is pointing out something to Pharrell, and Pharrell just like giving the point and pointing out to others one more time. So this is the consistent pattern of Pharrell Williams. Not the very first one that we watched there, but the ones that we consistently understand about his behavior is referring everything to others here.
This person. But I channel what I feel like is missing. And I forget that it's going to be me, because if I think that it's going to be me, then it won't be as good and I won't be as confident.
All right, see, for instance, he's saying, if it's all about me, I can't be confident. So people with extroverted decision, or the ones like J-Hope, for instance, are the ones that are not really confident when it comes to themselves. They want to point things to others because they think in general that when it comes to collab, when it comes to working, all the credits should go to others because they're part of a band. But people like RM, they're kind of like, if something is happening, I'm the one who is in charge, and I am responsible for everything, so I should be careful. But with Pharrell, he feels responsibility is also in there, but he don't want any credit for himself. It's part of who he is, actually. So we can see a wall between them, the ones who are more towards Pharrell in general sense, and the ones who are more towards RM. So see where you are.
Only confident knowing that I am giving the instruction and the directives to someone else. Like, for example, there's a record that I did with Mystical a long time ago called
Mystical.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, Shake Your Ass, right?
Ooh.
So when I did that record, I was thinking like, writing wise, Chad and I produced it together, but when I was writing that hook, I was pretending that like Eddie Kendricks from the Temptations could do it. And I remember saying to them, "Oh man, we're gonna get like, we're gonna get the guy from the Temptations to do it." And they were like, the record company wants you to stay on there. I was like,
Oh.
wait, what? So it was like this weird thing where like I started to realize that was my sweet spot, is when I channel other people and I surrender to what the music needs and not let my ego or my feelings get involved. And then I actually make better decisions, whether it's going to be me on the song at the end of the day or
the
not,
other artists.
or another artist. I filled in the blank and given them a different feeling. And oftentimes, sometimes I would be sharp, you know, when I'm singing on there, but it just felt good, and we would just leave it.
So, I'm not sure if you remember it or not, but we've met at
Of course.
Billboard Music Awards.
Yes, of
in
course.
2018.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
We took a photo.
We took a photo
I
together.
wanted to work then, but I didn't want to be aggressive. So I was like, let's just take a photo. But
You were nice.
But I really wanted to, I was like, yo, let's leave. I think we took a photo backstage.
Yeah, backstage in your room, actually.
Yeah, and then like I was working in a studio not too far off, and I really wanted to be like, yo, fuck all of this. No, you know what? Let me correct this, because I don't want your fan base to be mad at me using this kind of language. But man, I was like, man, I wanted to be like, listen, let's leave here right now and go make some great music, because I just loved everything that you guys were doing. I love.
So, in general, we can develop a second behavior or second personality based on the second language that we learn, or based on the third language. We can actually develop different personalities by learning different languages and different cultures. And RM in English, it feels like the same when I talk English. So in Persian, I'm a little bit different. I'm more calm. I'm very silent. I'm a bit shy. I don't talk too much, but in English I do. To RM, I think it's a little bit vice versa. His Korean character, it's much more active, in my opinion. Maybe he's just so preserved and calm because of what they do there. But in general, I think RM is more active in Korean rather than in English. To me, it's a little bit different. I'm more active in English, I'm more calm in Persian, but that's kind of like a behavioral science fact. So I just wanted you to know that. Maybe it will help you.
Love your energy, and I love what it is that you represent. In such a time when our Asian brothers and sisters and fellow Asian human beings that maybe don't identify necessarily binarily in a binary way. The Asian community has just been going through so much
these days, yeah,
and
gradually more and more.
The Asian community has given me so much, and I really feel like y'all's energy. You're also showing like artist not just like not just in one specific genre, but I think you're just like also showing people that like you don't have to be. You can be humble. You guys, your energy is there's a lot of humility that you all vibrate. I think that's a great.
So I don't want to just turn this video into behavioral science session. I thought I can just go for a little bit of it, because I can go all day and night talking about what they say and how they say and what is going on in their head. For instance, in general, 10 minutes into the video, and Pharrell Williams is really a nice guy. I really like him now. He's just complimenting you all day. You can sit in front of him and he feels no credit because of being a celebrity, whatever, and he's a really cool guy in some sense that I can actually see right now. And yeah, and RM has no need of introduction or whatever, but let's go and just, I want to enjoy a little bit of video as well. I think this channel should stay something related to music, not behavioral science. But those little comments, I hope that will just spice up everything a bit. I don't want to just turn it into that one. If you're asking for such thing, also we can have this into a little parenthesis here. if you want me to do more of that, maybe I can exclusively going and make some video based on such thing. But apart from that, if I ever want to do that things also in this channel, I want to go and do it on BTS members, and not on others. And the reason that I talk about Pharrell Williams a lot is because he's talking all the time, and he doesn't really let RM to talk. But anyway,
Energy. What people don't realize is like when you have, you know, literally, you know, hundreds of millions of fans, and you encounter them, you know, 20 and 50 and 100,000 at a time.
Can't notice a single face, you know. It's just
Man.
just a mess.
Yeah, it's
MAS. That's not a
yeah. It's a mass.
It's a mass.
And it is a massive voice, and it is a massive, using that word mass, it is a massive energy coming at you, and you say jump,
and then they jump,
and you sing, and they sing every word,
right?
And you know that you can feel through their voices that so many of their lives have been affected and changed because of something that you've done.
That's
I
why
don't know how
only
you.
believe.
I don't know how you do that, because I've had a couple songs do that, and then when I get out there and go sing it, that would make me cry because it was too much of a responsibility. Every time I get that close to that size and what I do as a musician, I always step back.
Oh, why? It's like, is it too heavy?
It's too heavy, man.
Too much?
It's too much of a responsibility. That's why I really revere people like yourself and, you know, your band members and other artists like B and J, and like, man, what y'all go out there and go face every night on that stage. It is humbling and it's overwhelming, and sometimes your nervous system got to be built for that.
Of course.
Let me ask you this: how do you deal after you come off the stage feeling electrified and shocked every night? How do you decompress, or do you decompress, or do you purge? Like, how do you do that?
It's, you know, my first performing was in front of like 10 people in some small clubs when I was like 15.
Okay.
And I like forgot most of the lyrics. So at that time, I just realized that, oh, I'm not a star type. I'm not a, like a front man and, could enjoy all this shit and just, like Kurt Cobain or Mick Jagger. I'm not that type of, I'm just a human just who loves writing music and just, the energy. So
knowing behavioral science help you to understand that RM is lying here. He's definitely lying. He's and the reason he's lying is because he wants to stay so humble. So in case of RM, he doesn't feel such thing. Not that he don't understand such thing, but he doesn't feel such thing. And in some sense, I can say he's so competitive to be number one, and not all the way, but he knows that he is that good quality. He is better than Kurt Cobain or Mick Jagger. Like, deep down, he knows this stuff, but he's just trying to stay so humble. So that is what he's processing while talking to Pharrell Williams, because he understands what Pharrell Williams is all about and the vibe and the energy that Pharrell, just like we're talking about it. Between them, it feels like you don't need to just, be so selfish. That's why RM is so mature. He understands the situation. And in general, I can say what he says is not true based on what he believes in his head. But yeah, he's saying it because he's too humble. So let's go back.
Every night, like, for example, we had these stadium shows in Las Vegas last April. Yeah. It was 4, but like every night is a challenge. It's like same set list. It's like maybe the same flow, sort of type, little different, but just like you said, that moment, like after we finished the first 3 beginning songs, and then we, take out the earphones, and then like we just like,
Yeah.
we're fucking back. It's like that's like everybody shouting out. At that moment, you know, that's when I really gets all the nerves and like you know there's a different me persona for the next 2 hours and a half. But before that, from the rehearsal and even in the plane, I got really nervous and you know like so responsible because I really am aware of the stories that you know fans buy the tickets and they come from Brazil, you know, from Japan, Korea, like from everywhere. They just come there for just that one night. So it feels me like I have to pay back, you know. I have to I have to offer them the best night ever in their lives. So it's
feeling nervous, in some sense, for RM is responsibility. For me, is being nervous. So when you're nervous, you're shaking, a little cold sweats on your forehead, in general. So, but for him, that's why I'm saying, RM in general, is in some group of people that he's so responsible, but he doesn't feel the stress that normally like people like us do. When I become nervous, I become shaken, stressful, and stuff like that. Not in this particular time of my life. Like now, I feel it's a little bit different. But yeah, they're two big groups again in terms of stress. RM is the calm one, so
it's a mess, and
that's why he's a good performer. Don't forget that. He's a very, very good performer. He's a good stress handler.
It's too much energy, but I'm a human, and I really get nervous, and I really sometimes get depressed by, and even you know get swallowed by all the energies. But I'm trying, and I try to deal with it because I'm a human, and I love the music.
Stress handler, yeah.
I love their love because you know I think love is really happening when we give somebody, not we receive. Yeah, we take.
Yeah.
So I think it's more closer to the real love, I guess, personally. So I just want to give them back. You know, they brought us from you know just a small city in Korea all the way back to you know the heart of this music industry.
Yeah.
Las Vegas, LA, New York. You know, me having an interview with Pharrell, it could happen because of you know fans all over the world. I'm just always grateful, and I just don't want to disappoint them. How do you position yourself? Like you know, you're a producer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you may be a rapper. You may be a singer. Yeah. You may be a CEO. Yeah. Father. Yeah. A husband. Yeah. Like what's like you know of course the name Pharrell explains everything, but like you know like except that how will you define yourself like
I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm a public servant first.
Public servant.
Yeah.
Down to earth, pointing out, trying not to, you know, get all the attentions and the comments and the compliments. He's just like, I'm a servant, and he means it. So that's what good about Pharrell Williams.
Yeah. I like that. I like that word.
Yeah, and you know, when you serve the public, you know, you're doing
something for public.
Yeah, and that's God's will. I'm a believer.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I believe. You know, the universe is real. For me, God is the universe. Mm-hmm. We're in the universe. And then, you know, again, you know, being a public servant, you know, being, you know, a father, a husband, and then music is like everything for me because music's the skeleton key that's opened up every door.
Still music.
Yeah, it's like the center of everything because without that, I wasn't able to do all the stuff that I'm able to do. And then I definitely have my struggles with having a lack of a sense of purpose, I think.
Mm-hmm. When? Like,
right around 2005, when I put out In My Mind. I just felt like,
right after that?
As soon as it didn't do what I wanted it to do, I mean, culturally, it made an impression. but it didn't do it egotistically. It didn't perform the way I wanted it to chart-wise. Like it just didn't do what I was used to at that time, and that really hit me hard. So that made me start to think about like purpose and things having real, true DNA and not just aesthetic perversion, but like real, true like meaning. And something that could be meaningful to people, but at the same time still fun. And you know, I've always loved the girl, so that was always going to be a part of it. But so I understand what that is. I know what it's like to hit that place in your career, and for whatever reason, and you guys are doing fine. But I think, you know, from what I'm hearing and what I'm understanding, you guys hit a place where you were like, you know, what are we doing? Who are we? Are we who we said we were?
Right.
You know, and you know, as you think about who you are and you think about what you mean and what your intentions are, it's like also kind of determining who you want to be. I mean, how's that feel? Like, where are you in that process right now? Because you're working on a solo record, right?
Yes.
RM talking about all about himself, and he's asking some question that he wants to know, and Pharrell can hijack the conversation just like that and referring everything back to BTS and RM again. So for the sake of a little bit of having game, tell me which side are you in? Like, are you in the team Pharrell or you're in team RM? So for me, I'm in team RM based on my personality. I like to know yours. Just see what you do. Just get back to your memory and see when you're talking to people, you hijack the conversation. Like RM talking about what he loves and what he wants to do and what he wants to know, or you're in Team Pharrell, you hijack the conversation and you point everything back to the person that you're talking to. Like, just I'd like to know that. Oh, what did I do? All right.
Like, you know, like accept that. How will you define yourself?
Okay.
I just felt like,
After
man,
that?
and not just aesthetic perversion, but so I understand what that is. I know what is. You hit a place where you were like, and it's like also kind of.
I missed it.
Yes, like
Okay.
90% of the work is done
Right now. I mean, how's that feel? Like, where are you in that process right now? Because you're working on a solo record, right?
Yes, like 90% of the work is done.
Okay.
I've released some mixtape as a, you know, one of the member of the band, but I think it was just like experiments. I think this time it's maybe my official first solo album.
Okay.
That I could feel enough.
Okay.
I don't know it's gonna be like, I don't know if I would feel like you after my mind or not. I think, you know, it'll happen after when I release it.
Yeah.
So I'm just dependent on the time. But it's been just like 10 years after we had our debut as a team. So, you know, K-pop is, you know, all about the band and the groups. And actually, I told you, I personally started my career as a rapper and as a poet.
Yeah.
So that was a tricky part actually, because, you know, the K-pop is like a mix.
Yeah.
It's like the mix of American pop music, all the visuals and the choreos and social medias and stuff. It's really intense and really hectic. So it has some pros and cons of its own. So, you know, after 10 years, I think it was not our intention, but we took it. But we actually became a sort of a social figure. So, you know, a K-pop band going to have a speech at the UN, or, you know, meeting the presidents.
UN speech, we're gonna watch all of them because we know all RM, huh? He's talking good.
It's like I think I was really confused that I'm what am I, like a diplomat or what? So
Yeah.
I was just like a small rapper and lyricist when I was young, like from the scratch. So so it was 10 years really intense as a team, and I actually was in charge like almost all of the interviews and you know, representing the team like in front of the other members. That was my stuff, I guess, role.
Yeah.
So I think I got really I don't know, like, yo, I gotta stop this for a bit.
Yeah.
I gotta shut it down and just fall from it away, and then just see what's going on. Making my mind really calm down.
Yeah.
And then I think so that's how I got to concentrate on my just solo. And these days I really have been thinking about the 15 when I first listened to you. The first feeling and the vibe and the reason why I started, why I chose music to for my whole life, I guess. So yeah, when I started my music, I was like 14, and now I'm like 28. So it's like just the half. It's like it's like.
So forgive me, but I'd like to add one more comment here. In terms of talking, we have two big groups. So for whatever I'm going to talk, we have two big groups because we have kind of like around 4,096 different personalities, and whatever subject you're going to talk to me, we can divide it into half, and these halves are kind of like, I don't know, 10 to 14 coins. So anyway, in terms of talking, we have people who we call them chapter talker or channel changer. Or chapter talkers are the ones who stick to one big idea or one simple category, and whatever they talk about, it's all about that category. It serves as the category, it serves the topic. But channel changers are kind of like RM. They start from one place, so that one place would have 4 different branches of speech, and they hijack one of them, they go all the way here, and they open another 4 branch, and they go for this one, they come here, they have another 4 branch, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 2, maybe 1, and they start changing the channel all the time. So if you listen to RM closely in the past 3 minutes, he just changed the channel all the time, like changing. And I feel, to some sense, that Pharrell lost in what he's talking about, and it's very interesting to know after he stops talking what Pharrell's gonna say. So let's go and watch that. Again, RM, you can actually tell me that as well. I mean, still, RM team. I'm a channel changer myself. I'm not a category talker, but I like to know what you do. So
like way shorter than you. So I'm in that process. So it's really tricky and confusing, and I just don't know what's going to happen. So if you could give me any advices, because you were in the band, and you are in the band, and you done the best. It's different from the K-pop, but you've done a lot of projects, like of course NERD, Neptunes, and of course your solo.
Yeah.
So, like any thoughts about being
in the Neptunes, being in NERD, and having a solo record really helped me because it you do one thing.
So RM talked a lot, and Pharrell just started from the point that he ended the conversation. I'm sure in his mind he do not remember any of the things that RM said. Because of that, he has started from the very last point that is very obvious. We're going to start from there. But now I think Pharrell's kind of like a category talker. So whatever that he's going to say now should serve what RM actually asked.
Then you take a break. You do another thing, then you take a break. You do another thing, then
switch
you take
modes.
A break. Yeah, and it allows me to like put on different hats and put on different masks. So I understand that. And I know like having that departure is going to make it really fresh for you. I think it's good for you to do that, because then when you come back to it, to the group,
team.
I think it's going to be, to the team, I think it's going to be super fresh. You're going to have a whole lot of ideas. I would just say continue to move forward, continue to be curious, and don't put any kind of necessary pressure on what it is that you do by saying, no absolutes, like, oh, I will never do music again, or I will never, I wouldn't do any of that. I would just
No nevers.
No nevers. Just stay along for the ride. Just keep going.
Cruising.
Yeah, and just see where you end up, because it's really interesting.
Thank you.
No, thank
It
you.
was a bless.
Pleasure's mine.
Beautiful RM here. All right. That was a very good session, I guess. That was a very good session. What is the most viewed comment here? The way Namjoon truly thinks about his answers before speaking, his eloquent words, his honesty, his humbleness, the way he actively listened to Pharrell, ask genuine question. All of this just proves yet again that we support and love the right person. Edit, for whatever reason this comment went off, so I just wanted to let you all know that I make video essays mainly on BTS and their music right now, in case anyone is interested. All right. Cool. This video became long enough. I think I just don't want to make you bored. But if you wait until this moment, thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for the love and the support. I can't thank you more for everything, like the subscribers and the likes and the comments and everything. It means a lot to me. The support. I'm just like I'm in a phase in my life that I really need that kind of support, and it feels good to be here. Thank you so much one more time. Hope you all have a great time, and hope you have a great life. Love you all, and see you later.